Hello world. It's Sunday, the 23rd of January 2022, and we're looking at the weather forecast for the Worcester Magic Soaring weather for tomorrow, Monday, the 24th of January. There's still no electricity on the airfield, and I'm busy recording this by candlelight, but fortunately folks have rallied around with some generators and things, and we've managed to keep the show on the road. Looking at the weather for tomorrow, the good news is the maximum temperature has cooled down to 36 or 37. We also have an inversion at about 6,000 feet and a wind shear at about 3,000 feet, and the possibility for some cloud development. But let's look at some details. This is the boundary layer wind for 1400 hours, 2 o'clock, and it's the 4 kilometer low resolution forecast that covers a big area. You can see that we have a southwesterly flow right from Hook and Claver, Porterville into the Breda Valley. It gets a bit affected by the wind shadow, and then on the eastern side it's a southwesterly flow all the way out, quite a long way out. If we zoom in, let's look at some clouds first. We can see cloud bases inland from perhaps 10,000 feet, a bit higher, but very little cloud on the Langeberg Ridge or on the northern ridge. That's at 2 o'clock. And that's at 5 o'clock. This is the low resolution forecast, and we can see there's cloud on the eastern ridges past Swellendam, and that is showing at a height of somewhere between 3.5, maybe 4,000 feet and parts. So there is going to be some cloud effect on the eastern ridges later in the day. Looking at the high resolution of that, we can see the same cloud coming in east of Robertson, and that's around 4,000 feet. I'm looking at this chart, which is the height of the critical updraft strength, and we notice that in the valley, in the Torbach Valley, south of Swellendam in the valleys, and in the valley west of Porterville, the thermals are actually cut off quite low. This is around 3,000 feet, maybe some places even lower. So there is a problem in the valleys. If I zoom out and look at that, you can see the big areas over here. That's 3,500 feet, and up here as well, 3,000 feet. Going out to 5 o'clock just to see what happens. It's still there, it hasn't died off completely, but we can see the ridges have got some life, but the valleys are looking fairly dead. Just look at some wind in detail. This is the surface wind, 2 o'clock and high resolution. We can see that this green is about 10-12 knots, so there's a nice southwesterly all along the front bridge and on the Witzenberg. It's a bit broken on the bridge down to Robertson, and then past Robertson it re-establishes southwesterly, but this is cutting in a bit. Zooming out just to get the bigger picture, still 2 o'clock. We can see southwesterlies on the eastern ridges and southwesterlies on the northern ridges as well. But these are not so strong, getting below 10 knots. Going out to 5 o'clock, we can see there is some coastal air pushing in over here, and if I look in detail, we can see this inflow coming in round the corner, round the Rufisona End Mountains. Let's look at some T5 grams just to That's a big picture at 5 o'clock. Looking at some T5 grams just to see exactly what this all means. We start off with Swellendam. This is 5 o'clock. You can see the wind is very southerly. It's blowing about 10 knots. And there's a wind shear at 4,500 feet and some cloud at 4,000 feet. So it'll work up to 4,000 feet at Swellendam at 5 o'clock. At Porterville, there's an inversion here that's cutting it off at about 3,500 feet. The wind is very southerly on the ridge as well. Still 10 knots. Backing off to 2 o'clock, Porterville, still very southerly and still that inversion is quite low. 5 o'clock in Porterville, same story with the inversion. Tilbach, this is 2 o'clock. That wind is a bit light, but it's straight onto the ridge. Still an inversion around 4,000. And at 5 o'clock we can see that it's starting to die. Maybe that coastal air is affecting Tilbach. Worcester itself, looking at 11 in the morning. You see we don't have trigger temperature at 11. We will have to wait for it to warm up to about 35 before we get trigger temperature. So we won't be launching very early, definitely not before 11:30, probably more like 12, but we'll see tomorrow. Generally a good day. Perhaps easterly tasks look slightly better at this stage than northerly ones, but we'll update it in the morning. Hope by tomorrow we will have some electricity when I do another forecast. Fly carefully and enjoy the day.